Welcome back. Today, we are going to explore one of the most fascinating and often overlooked areas of British coinage, the United Kingdom 2p coin. While many people still see this coin as just a simple piece of copper-plated steel, serious collectors know that certain rare editions of the 2p can be worth incredible amounts of money in today's auction market. In this video, we will reveal the most valuable top 6 United Kingdom 2p coins in different conditions, from copper-plated rarities to scarce minting errors, all of which have captured the attention of collectors worldwide. These coins may look small, but their historical value and financial worth are truly big. So let's get started. First up, we are diving into the fascinating world of British decimal coinage, focusing on a coin that holds both historical and collectible significance. The United Kingdom 2p from 1994. This copper-plated steel coin, in very fine condition, is now attracting high interest among collectors due to its enduring charm and the rising demand in the auction market. If you have one of these coins in your collection, you may be sitting on a small but valuable treasure that continues to grow in worth. The story of the 1994 2p coin takes us back to the era of decimalization in the United Kingdom. The 2p coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of the major currency change that replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. Initially struck in bronze, the composition was changed to copper-plated steel in 1992 due to rising metal costs, making the 1994 issue among the earlier years of this new style. Carrying the image of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the famous badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet on the reverse, this coin stands as a piece of modern history and a lasting tribute to the late Queen's long reign. What makes the 1994 2p coin particularly interesting are its unique features and the details of its design. The obverse features Raphael Maklauf's portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a design that was used between 1985 and 1997, showcasing her regal profile wearing the royal diadem. The reverse, designed by Christopher Ironside, displays the striking plume and ribbon with the motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve. This symbol is deeply rooted in royal tradition and gives the coin a strong cultural and historical presence. The warm reddish tone of the copper plating adds to its eye appeal, and when preserved in very fine condition, the coin displays sharp details that collectors are always eager to acquire. The rarity of the 1994 2p coin in collectible condition is what drives demand today. While millions were minted for circulation, only a fraction survive in very fine or better states without damage or heavy wear. Collectors understand that condition is everything, and securing a 1994 2p in this well-preserved state is not as easy as it sounds. Over time, most coins are scratched, tarnished, or corroded, especially those struck in copper-plated steel, which can rust or lose their bright luster. That is why coins from this year in attractive condition are considered highly desirable, and their demand in the market is growing consistently. When it comes to value, the 1994 United Kingdom 2p in very fine condition can surprise many collectors. While face value is only 2p, auction markets have seen these coins fetch significantly more when offered to eager buyers. Depending on the grade, preservation, and the interest of bidders, examples in very fine condition can reach $521,000, with some climbing even higher as demand continues to expand. This is especially true when sold in auctions or among serious collectors, where the historical context and condition play a key role in price determination. What might look like a small, everyday coin can, in reality, hold a far greater value than most people expect. For collectors, there are some important tips to keep in mind if you are pursuing the 1994 2p coin. Always look for coins that have strong details on the Queen's portrait and the Prince of Wales' feathers, with minimal wear and no heavy scratches. Bright luster or even tone adds to desirability, while coins stored properly in albums or holders can retain their beauty for decades. It's also smart to keep an eye on the auction market, as prices are trending upward and demand for these coins is stronger than ever. Adding this coin to your collection not only enriches its variety, but also positions you well for future value growth as more people enter the coin collecting hobby. The United Kingdom 2p from 1994 in very fine condition is far more than just small change. It represents a fascinating chapter of British coinage history, carries the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II, and features a design that collectors admire. With its rarity in higher grades, its strong appeal in the auction market, and its growing value in dollars, this coin is undoubtedly one to treasure. If you have one, hold on to it with pride, and if you don't, now is the perfect time to seek one out and secure it for your collection. The demand is real, the history is rich, and the value is climbing, making this coin a true gem in the world of numismatics. Next up, we are diving into the world of British coinage, focusing on one of the most interesting and sometimes overlooked coins, the United Kingdom 2 pence from the year 1988. While at first glance it may look like an ordinary copper-plated coin, when found in extra fine condition, this coin becomes a fascinating collectible with growing demand in the numismatic world. We'll explore its history, its unique features, why it has become rare in today's market, and most importantly, its potential auction value in dollars. The 2 pence coin was first introduced in 1971 during the decimalisation of British currency, when the UK moved away from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to the modern decimal system we know today. The 2p coin was struck in bronze initially, but by the early 1980s, with rising metal costs, the Royal Mint made the switch to copper-plated steel. The 1988 2 pence coin belongs to this copper-plated series, making it part of a transitional period in UK coinage. It features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by sculptor Raphael Maklauf, which was used on coins from 1985 to 1997, a design familiar to many collectors. The 1988 2 pence coin is easily recognized by its reverse design, featuring the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, with the motto, Ich Dien, meaning, I serve. This iconic design was created by Christopher Ironside, a well-known British coin designer. On the obverse side, you will see Queen Elizabeth II facing right, wearing the royal diadem. What makes the 1988 issue particularly appealing is its sharp detail when preserved in extra fine condition. The lettering, feathers, and portrait can still be seen with crisp clarity, which greatly increases its desirability among collectors. Although millions of 2 pence coins were minted in 1988, most of them were used heavily in everyday circulation. Over the decades, natural wear, scratches, and fading have left only a small number of coins in extra fine or uncirculated condition. Because collectors specifically seek out coins with sharp details and minimal damage, high-grade 1988 2 pence coins are not easy to come by. Furthermore, the switch to copper-plated steel made these coins prone to rusting or discoloration when not stored properly, which adds to the rarity of finding them in extra fine condition today. This scarcity is exactly what drives up collector demand in the auction market. So how much is a 1988 2 pence coin in extra fine condition actually worth? While ordinary circulated examples may only be worth their face value, a well-preserved coin can command a surprising price at auction. In recent years, collectors have been willing to pay anywhere between $20,500 for an extra fine example, depending on the quality and the level of preservation. In some cases, coins with near uncirculated luster and perfect details have been reported to fetch even higher prices, reaching up to $30,000 or more when competitive bidding takes place. This may not seem like a fortune, but considering the coin's original value of just 2 pence, the return is extraordinary for collectors. If you are interested in collecting 1988 2 pence coins, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always look closely at the coin's condition. Extra fine means that the design details are sharp, with only light signs of wear. Coins with scratches, rust, or heavy tarnishing are far less desirable. Second, store your coins properly in protective holders or albums to prevent further damage or discoloration. Third, keep an eye on online auctions, coin fairs, and estate sales where rare 2 pence coins often appear. And finally, remember that rarity combined with high-grade preservation is what creates true value in the numismatic market. The United Kingdom 2 pence coin from 1988 may seem like a small and common piece of change, but when preserved in extra fine condition, it transforms into a sought-after collectible with real value in today's auction market. Its historical significance, unique design, and rarity all contribute to its growing appeal among coin enthusiasts. So, if you come across one in your collection or pocket change, take a closer look. You might be holding a coin worth far more than just 2 pence. Next up, the United Kingdom 2 new pence coin from 1976 in very fine condition. While at first glance it may look like just another ordinary copper-plated coin, this 2 pence piece holds surprising value for collectors, especially when it appears in preserved grades. We'll explore its background, unique features, collector demand, and of course, its auction market value in dollars today. So, let's dive right in. The United Kingdom introduced the decimal 2 new pence coin in 1971 as part of the decimalisation reform that transformed the British currency system. The 2 pence coin became a vital part of daily transactions, replacing older pre-decimal coins. By 1976, millions of these coins were struck, but they carried the classic design from the early decimal era. The obverse features the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin, which became iconic across British and Commonwealth coinage. The reverse proudly displays the badge of the Prince of Wales with the motto, Ich dien, meaning, I serve. These coins were struck in bronze and circulated heavily during the mid-1970s, which makes finding them in higher conditions a true challenge today. The 1976 2 new pence coin has a few characteristics that make it stand out. It is made of bronze, unlike later issues which shifted to copper-plated steel from 1992 onwards. Weighing 7.12 grams and measuring 25.9 millimeters in diameter, the coin carries the simple, yet elegant decimal-era design. In very fine condition, the coin will still show clear details of the Queen's portrait and the Prince of Wales badge, though light will be noticeable on the highest points. For many collectors, coins like this mark an important era of Britain's transition into a fully decimal system, making them historically and aesthetically significant. Although the 1976 2 new pence coin had a large mintage, the rarity comes not from its quantity, but from its condition and survival rate. Most of these coins were used in everyday circulation and quickly wore down. Finding one preserved in very fine or higher grade is much less common than finding worn pieces. This is what drives collector interest and market value. Collectors especially seek coins from the 1970s because they represent the early years of the decimal system, and the historical appeal boosts demand even further. Now, let's talk about what everyone is curious about: the value. A circulated 1976 2 new pence coin in poor condition may only be worth its face value, but in very fine condition, its desirability increases significantly. Depending on auction demand, collectors today are willing to pay anywhere between $15,600 for a well-preserved example. In higher grades, such as extremely fine or uncirculated, prices can climb even higher, sometimes reaching $25,500 or more at auctions, particularly when a coin is part of a graded collection. These values may not seem astronomical, but for a coin that originally had such a low denomination, its growth in collector value is remarkable. If you're interested in collecting coins like the 1976 2 new pence, always look for condition first. Aim for very fine or better examples, as these are the ones that carry real collector interest. Proper storage is key. Keep your coins in protective holders or albums to prevent scratches and environmental damage. It's also a good idea to check auction listings regularly, as prices fluctuate depending on collector demand. Finally, when buying or selling, try to deal with reputable dealers or auction houses to ensure authenticity and fair valuation. The United Kingdom 2 new pence 1976 in very fine condition is more than just small change. It's a piece of history from the early decimal coinage era. With its bronze composition, classic Queen Elizabeth II portrait, and symbolic Prince of Wales reverse, this coin captures both heritage and design. Its rarity in higher grades, coupled with steady collector demand, makes it a coin worth paying attention to in today's market. Whether you're an experienced collector or just beginning your journey, the 1976 2 new pence coin is a valuable reminder that even the smallest coins can hold big stories and surprising auction values. Next up, we're diving deep into one of the most interesting and sometimes overlooked pieces in British coinage history: the United Kingdom 2 pence coin from the year 1992. At first glance, a 2 pence coin may not look like much, but certain years, conditions, and features make some of these coins highly collectible and valuable in today's auction markets. We will explore the 1992 2 pence coin in fine condition, understand its history, its unique features, the rarity that drives collector demand, and most importantly, how much value it can command in dollars right now. The 2 pence coin was first introduced in 1971, when the United Kingdom officially moved from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to the modern decimal system. It was part of the new decimal coinage designed to simplify daily transactions. Initially, the coin was made of bronze, and by the late 1980s, it had become a familiar part of daily life. However, in 1992, a major change occurred in the composition of the 2 pence coin. That year, the Royal Mint shifted from traditional bronze to copper-plated steel, making 1992 a landmark year in the history of British coinage. Coins from this year represent the very beginning of this new metallic era, which is one of the reasons collectors take a special interest in them. The 1992 2 pence coin in fine condition still retains much of its original detail, despite some wear from circulation. On the obverse, it features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf, which was used on UK coinage from 1985 to 1997. On the reverse, you'll find Christopher Ironside's iconic design of the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet with the motto Ich diene, which means I serve in German. But what makes this coin stand out is its composition. While earlier coins were struck in bronze, this particular 1992 issue marked the start of copper-plated steel coins. That difference in metal composition makes the coin especially important to numismatists who study changes in minting practices. While millions of 2-pence coins were produced in 1992, finding examples in collectible condition is becoming more difficult. A fine condition coin means it has seen circulation but still holds strong design details without being overly damaged. Collectors particularly value this coin because of its transitional history. It bridges the old bronze era and the new copper-plated steel era. Over time, many of these coins have been lost, damaged, or heavily worn, reducing the number of decent condition pieces available on the market. As a result, even coins that are not in mint or uncirculated grades but preserved in fine or very fine conditions are seeing steady demand among collectors today. Now let's talk about value, the part that excites collectors and investors alike. The United Kingdom 2-pence 1992 in fine condition doesn't always sell for extremely high amounts like some rare error or low mintage coins. But because of its historic significance and copper-plated transition, it can command surprising prices at auctions. Depending on the demand and collector interest, a fine condition coin can sell anywhere from $27,500, while higher grade examples, especially in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, can fetch even more. Auction markets and online platforms have shown consistent activity for this coin, which proves that it has carved out a strong place in the world of collectible modern British coinage. If you're interested in collecting the 1992 2-pence coin, here are a few tips. Always check the condition carefully. Coins with less wear, clear lettering, and sharper design features will always fetch higher prices. If possible, aim for coins that still retain their original copper shine, as this increases collector appeal. Keep in mind that storage is equally important. Copper-plated steel coins are prone to rust and corrosion, so make sure to store them in a dry, protected environment, ideally inside acid-free coin holders. Finally, when buying or selling, always compare recent auction results to get a fair idea of current market value. The United Kingdom 2-pence coin from 1992 may seem like just another small denomination, but its history, unique transition to copper-plated steel, and rising demand among collectors make it an important coin to watch. Even in fine condition, it carries significant value and serves as a piece of British numismatic history that many collectors are proud to add to their collections. If you happen to have one of these coins in your change, don't underestimate it. It could be worth far more than its face value. Next up, the United Kingdom 2-pence coin from the year 1987. At first glance, it may look like just an ordinary coin, but when we look deeper into its condition, rarity, and current demand in the collector's market, it tells a much bigger story. This copper-plated steel coin, when found in very fine condition, is now gaining attention among serious collectors, and at auctions it can fetch surprisingly high values in dollars. So let's explore the history, features, and market demand of this underrated British coin. The 2-pence coin was first introduced in 1971 when the United Kingdom switched over to the decimal system. Originally struck in bronze, these coins carried the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the badge of the Prince of Wales on the reverse, a design by Christopher Ironside. By the late 1980s, the Royal Mint was producing these coins in large numbers for circulation. The 1987 issue falls within this early decimal coinage era, before the metal composition was changed to copper-plated steel in 1992. Even though millions of coins were minted in 1987, only a small number survive today in very fine or higher conditions, making them increasingly sought after. The 1987 2-pence coin carries the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf. This portrait shows the Queen wearing the regal George IV state diadem, a crown traditionally worn during the state opening of Parliament. The reverse side features the plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, along with the motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve. The edge of the coin is plain, and its weight and size remain consistent with earlier issues. Collectors particularly value the 1987 version in very fine condition, as coins from this year are less commonly found without heavy wear or damage. Now let's talk about rarity. While the 1987 2-pence was not a low-mintage coin, its scarcity arises from the fact that the majority of these coins were used heavily in circulation. Finding an example today that has survived in very fine condition with clear details on both the Queen's portrait and the Prince of Wales feathers is surprisingly difficult. Collectors are also drawn to this year because it represents the later part of the Bronze Era 2-pence coins, just before the shift to copper-plated steel. This transition has given earlier coins an added level of collectability. As a result, demand is steadily increasing at auctions and among private collectors. When it comes to value, a standard 1987 2-pence coin in worn condition may only be worth its face value. However, once you enter the realm of very fine condition or better, the story changes. On today's collector's market, coins of this grade have been known to sell at auction for anywhere between $21,670, depending on the sharpness of detail, color, and absence of damage. In some cases, when nearly uncirculated or extra-fine specimens appear, prices can climb even higher, sometimes crossing the $30,570 mark if multiple collectors are competing for the same coin. This makes the 1987 2-pence in very fine condition a small, but exciting treasure for those who appreciate the finer details of British numismatics. For collectors interested in acquiring this coin, there are a few tips to keep in mind. Always examine the coin's condition closely. Look for strong details in the Queen's crown, facial features, and the lettering. On the reverse, check that the feathers and coronet lines are visible without too much smoothing. Patina, or natural toning, can actually add character, but avoid coins with heavy scratches, corrosion, or discoloration. When buying, consider trusted auction houses, online coin marketplaces, and reputable dealers who specialize in British coinage. And if you already own a 1987 2-pence coin, storing it in a protective holder or album will help preserve its condition and maintain its value for the future. The United Kingdom 2-pence coin of 1987 in very fine condition is far more than just small change. It carries with it a piece of Britain's decimal coinage history, showcases the artistry of Raphael Maclau's portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and reflects the transition period before the shift in metal composition. Its rarity in higher grades has made it a hidden gem in the world of numismatics, with auction values in dollars continuing to grow. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your journey, the 1987 2-pence is a coin worth looking out for. Next up, we are diving into the fascinating world of British coinage, focusing on one particular piece that continues to attract attention among collectors worldwide. The United Kingdom 2-pence coin from 1979 in extra fine condition. While at first glance this copper-plated coin may look like a simple circulation piece, when examined in detail, its condition, history, and collector demand make it an important coin in the numismatic market. In this video, we'll explore its background, unique features, rarity, current auction market value in dollars, and even share some tips for collectors who want to own this coin in the best condition possible. The 2-pence coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of the decimalization of British currency, replacing the old pre-decimal system. The word new was added to coins issued between 1971 and 1981 to help people distinguish the new decimal coins from the older ones. By 1979, the coin was struck in massive numbers for everyday use, bearing the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Arnold Machin. This period was significant, as Britain was still adjusting to the decimal system, and the coinage reflected a major change in the nation's currency history. Though 1979 wasn't the first year of issue, it remains one of the more sought-after dates among collectors, especially when found in higher grades like extra fine. The 1979 2-pence coin was minted in bronze, which later transitioned to copper-plated steel in 1992 due to rising metal costs. On the obverse side, it carries the elegant crowned portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, while the reverse features the badge of the Prince of Wales, consisting of a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet. The ribbon below carries the German motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve. These design elements give the coin a regal and classic appearance, making it not only a piece of currency, but also a symbol of British heritage. The new pence inscription, which was later replaced with 2 pence from 1982 onward, makes the 1979 version more historically significant and collectible. Although millions of these coins were struck for circulation, finding a 1979 2-pence in extra fine condition is surprisingly rare. Most of the coins were heavily circulated, bearing scratches, discoloration, and general wear from everyday handling. Collectors prize coins that have retained their original detail, sharp edges, and strong luster, which makes extra fine examples stand out in the market. The demand for this coin also comes from its transitional history, the new pence inscription, its bronze composition, and the fact that it predates the design change of 1982. Many collectors aim to complete full decimal sets, and the 1979 issue is a crucial piece that adds significant value when preserved in excellent condition. When it comes to the auction market, the value of a 1979 2 Pence coin can vary depending on its grade. A common circulated example might only be worth its face value, but in extra fine condition, collectors are willing to pay a premium. At auctions, these coins can fetch between $35,600, and in certain cases, when accompanied by provenance or exceptional strike quality, they may even go beyond that range. The rarity of high-grade examples has steadily pushed up demand, and this trend suggests that values could rise further in the coming years. While it may not rival the rarest British coins, its market performance proves that even modern decimal coins have strong potential in the numismatic world. If you are considering adding a 1979 2 Pence coin to your collection, there are a few key tips to keep in mind. First, always check the coin's condition. Look for examples with minimal wear, sharp lettering, and a clear portrait of the Queen. Coins stored in protective holders or those found in original mint sets are more likely to be in extra fine or even better condition. Second, authenticity matters. While counterfeits of this coin are rare, it's always good practice to buy from reputable dealers or verified auction houses. Finally, think long-term. As more collectors turn their attention to modern decimal issues, the demand for extra fine and uncirculated coins will only increase, making this a smart investment for the future. The United Kingdom 2 Pence 1979 in extra fine condition is a remarkable coin that tells the story of Britain's decimalization era. With its elegant design, historical new pence inscription, and scarcity in high grades, it stands out as a valuable collectible. Its auction market performance proves that even seemingly common coins can achieve significant value when preserved in the right condition. So, whether you are a seasoned collector or just beginning your numismatic journey, this coin is one worth keeping an eye on. Remember, the beauty of coin collecting lies not only in rarity, but also in the history each coin carries. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.